Hello, Brad Schielke here at Conversations with Mormons. This is part 8 of Opening Eyes to Life. Last week we explored opening eyes by letting God love others through us. This week we'll explore how this co-loving is revealed in the humanity of Christ. We Christians speak much about the deity of Christ, but not much about his humanity. We like to talk about him being God, and especially about his death in our place to cleanse us from all sin. But what about his humanity? The humanity of Christ is all about him living a perfect life of love, always doing good and never doing evil. He never even had to fight any desire within himself to do evil, because for him all temptation came from outside and never from within. This means that he never violated his humanity, and thus is the only person who lived a truly human life. His humanity brings out into the open God's good expectations which are written in our soul. He lived out what all of us know intuitively we should do. To be human doesn't mean to be a flawed person who tends to do evil. It means to be a person who bears God's image with a purpose and potential of doing good by trusting to love rather than trying to love. Trying to love is a distortion of our humanity. It's rebellion against love, and it is self-righteousness. It's self-righteousness because it's about trusting in my own ability to love others, even though I prove time and again that I don't have that. This distortion is a sign that humanity has fallen. That's what the sinful nature is all about. The humanity of Jesus clarifies these issues. I don't tell people these things because even though it's good information, simply giving people good information rarely gets through the minefield of human pride and often leads to arguments. Mormons often tell me true things about Jesus that they say they believe, but have really only memorized. To believe the gospel is to abandon all hope in self and trust the sin-bearing death of Christ as all one's hope. Trust is the key word, and trust is different from memorization. But that's not obvious to a person trapped in thinking informationally instead of relationally. So how do I help Mormons think relationally and discover their need to trust? Since trust is about opening our hearts, I open mine and invite them to join me. I commonly start by declaring my total confidence in God having no negative thoughts about them. With atheists or skeptics, I declare my total confidence in that person as always being a fully valuable person. People appreciate this. I ask if they think it's true, and then we're off to the races. I then ask if they ever have harsh or self-condemning thoughts about their moral failings. Of course they do, everyone does. I ask why they have these thoughts and if their harshness is a good thing. No one says it's good. I tell them that it sounds like they are failing to meet their own expectations, and everyone agrees. Now comes the point that increases their curiosity. I tell them that their harshness toward themselves reveals one thing, and that is that they have a problem with their expectations. I pause here and wait for them to finish my sentence. Most do and always say they're too high, to which I immediately reply, no, they're too low. This surprises almost everyone because we all know that raising expectations only leads to worse thoughts and more self-condemnation. Instead of applying them to them, I ask students to apply their good expectations to me. How often would you encourage me to do evil to your friends? They look surprised or even shocked and explain that I should never do evil to their friends or to anyone else. I tell them that right away I've already failed to meet their expectation because I've done evil. Mormons and everyone else say, me too. Do you have any friends who've never done something evil? I ask this and no one ever says yes. Do you know anyone in history who has never done evil? Since I'm on the campus of a very religious university, most say only Jesus Christ. I then say, since your expectation is that I never do evil, it sounds to me like your expectation is that I have to be flawless like Jesus. Suddenly, the humanity of Christ is filling their windshield, and Mormons express surprise when they tell me that, yes, you must be flawless like Jesus. We talked more about this, and they realized that when they had self-condemning thoughts, they weren't measuring themselves by the standard Jesus set, but were lowering their standards so that they had the potential to meet them, or at least do better than they did last time. Since none of us can ever meet the expectation of perfection, we can relax, and instead of being harsh, can trust the perfection of Christ given to us. Many self-condemning thoughts come from our inability to love as we should, and hidden in the words of these new Mormon friends is a new understanding of their need to trust God to co-love those around them instead of trying to love through their own effort, which leads to more self-condemnation. When the light comes on, they are now ready to see the death of Christ in a new way. Good expectations are what life is about, and joining God and seeing life through the flawlessness of Christ's humanity is the door into co-loving with Him. Next week we'll look further at how this works. Until then, please join me in comparing yourself and others to Christ and notice how it affects you. Welcome to the conversation.